You know, the timeline is real funny. People love to throw stones and their houses are made of nothing but glass. Tyler, the creator, did a tribute to D'Angelo, and then they go back and dig up old tweets to show that he's anti-black. And this is supposed to be his fan base. Being able to choose the people who listen to your music is a funny thing because that never really happens. Do y'all think the Tyler, the creator, is anti-black because of something that he said in his 20s? Let's talk about it.
The STEM Society.
Tyler, the creator, is catching a lot of flack now because of a D'Angelo post. So Tyler went out and did a tribute to D'Angelo, which we all have. He was very special to us as a musician, as an artist, so on and so forth. And in his comment section from his tribute, he got a lot of racist remarks. He got a lot of people going in on D'Angelo. It's weird. And a lot of people are saying this is from his white fan base, which for all of us who know, Tyler does have a strong white fan base. White people come out to see Tyler. They love him because he's the weird black kid that you can be cool with. So it looks like people went and grabbed these old tweets that he tweeted like in 2014 when he was a kid. He was an adult, but he was in his 20s, and he did a lot of different tweets back then, which I'll get to later. Further the stigma, or to further the conversation, he liked a post that was talking about how his fan base likes him as a black guy and as a black artist, but don't like the black music that he likes. Here's what the post said. Nigga has Charlie Wilson, Erykah Badu, DJ Drama, etc. collaborations, and they still refuse to engage with black art on any meaningful level. Very cannibalistic. So when I look at that, first and foremost, when I seen the story, I was like, damn, this nigga catching hell for being a crossover artist. For a lot of us who don't really understand, Tyler, the creator, was one of those artists where black folks wasn't fucking with him when he first came out. That's the real. A lot of black folks did not understand Tyler's music. A lot of people didn't understand why this goofy looking nigga is so popular with a certain demographic at when he first came out. It was crazy. He crossed over first before he became a major star. And that usually doesn't happen with a lot of artists, but the white fan base accepted him. Now, for the simple fact of people wanting to say, well, his white fan base won't accept black music, I mean, what do you want people to do? You get what I'm saying? Like, do you really think that the white folks are going to sit up here and go listen to Charlie Wilson or go listen to Erykah Badu like that? No, they don't like Tyler for his musical taste. They like Tyler because he was saying some wild off the wall shit early in his career, and he was part of Odd Future. And we all know how Odd Future used to act back in the day. We all know that Odd Future was a different type of group. Tyler has proven time and time again that he's evolved from who he used to be way back in those days. And I will be going over some of his albums early in his career to show y'all what he used to be like and where he is now. But Tyler wasn't accepted by hip hop. He was a lot like Childish Gambino. Hip hop didn't accept him at first, and we had to learn to accept him as hip hop. I think Childish Gambino is a hip hop artist, no matter what a lot of people say. But he crossed over first before he ended up getting big, and that's just how it goes sometimes. I just feel like when we sit up here and try to criticize these artists for finding a fan base first and actually establishing who they are and growing, and then we start criticizing them because of what happened, we're hypocrites. we're some of the biggest hypocrites in the world. Half of y'all didn't even know Tyler was from California until he came out on the Pop Out. A lot of niggas didn't even know he was from Cali. That's weird, nigga. Y'all niggas are crazy. That just goes to show that we blindly follow a lot of people that we don't know anything about. We just want to talk about the music, or we want to be on the winning team, so on and so forth. Now, that leads me into some of the old tweets that they pulled up from 2014, which I'm going to read some of these for you because he's catching a lot of backlash for these tweets. One of the first tweets that I seen people were talking about or being resurfaced was, I hate Black History Month. Why the fuck do you have to fucking separate niggas still? Oh, it's paying homage to our heroes. Fuck that. Then there's a tweet where Tyler joked about affirmative action saying, ha ha ha, some black chicks work here. Affirmative nigga. Finally, there's one from August 2014 where it was amidst the Ferguson riots where he tweeted this. Black people are currently mad right now, but in 2 weeks, will be over it because they really don't care. Cool hashtag though, right? Tyler was using Twitter for what it was meant for back in those days, which is more like a journal, like a social media journal. People were tweeting out wild shit in 2014. Go back and see some of the shit that we seen back then in 2014 and you tell me what Twitter was like, because I was there. I seen it. A lot of black people from that time really wanted to be a part of the hashtag. A lot of people from that time really wanted to look cool on Twitter and not care about none of that, none of the other stuff. Am I saying what he tweeted was right? Not necessarily, but it was how he was feeling. It was where he was coming from. It was all his perspective. So at the end of the day, I mean, what are we mad about? Now, the affirmative action one for me was one that I didn't like. The affirmative action tweet was one of those things where it's just like, come on, bro. Really? But again, we're talking about Tyler, the Creator, in 2014 in his 20s. What do we expect from people at that age? And I hate to bring age up because there are some 20-year-olds that are very mature that knows how to handle things and to be able to take care of families at that point in time. But we're looking at a music nerd that's kind of goofy, that's kind of off to himself at that point in time, that was on some weird shit. I think that Tyler, the Creator, said what he said in his 20s, but he's showing something different now in his 30s. See, that's the thing we hate about artists or about seeing an evolution of people, the growth. We always want to hold people's feet to the fire when they were saying some of the wildest shit back in those days, and we want to put that on them now, not understanding that that person has come from so much or they've done so much to change themselves. It is kind of ridiculous because he's still a goofy ass nigga, but he understands who he is. He understands what his responsibilities are now as an adult. Now, you could go back and listen to Chromacopia and understand that he's like, I'm not married, I don't have kids, but I still do a lot of cool shit. You know what I'm saying? But he's more responsible with his music. He's more responsible with what he says now, which if you listen to any interviews these days with Tyler, the Creator in it, Tyler's always talking about music. He's talking about how much he loves the culture. I just don't feel like that it's right for us to sit up here and take something from when he was really sitting up here trying to gain attention or understand who he was at that time and use it on today and use it for today. Like we do that with so many celebrities these days when a lot of y'all was doing and saying a lot of different shit back in those days too, that if we dug up some of your old tweets or some of the old things that you was doing, you was probably doing way worse. When are we going to become a society that doesn't sit up here and try to kill people for what their old thoughts was? You know what I'm saying? Like, when are we going to be a society that says, yo, he's grown from that. Yo, he's way different than who he used to be. This is not the same Tyler. When are we going to get to that point? Because honestly, when you see people do that kind of shit, they're trying to be cool or they're trying to break a story or they're trying to get their micro 15 minutes of fame. And it doesn't really work. Not for me. I don't see, why are we accepting of these things? Why do we say, oh, gotcha, nigga. We got you right where we want you at. He was just saying some wild shit on Twitter that everybody was saying back in those times. What's wrong with that? It shouldn't be anything wrong if he's changed, right? It shouldn't be anything that's horrible if he's changed his ways and he's doing different now, right? It just feels nasty. It feels like people trying to get grimy out here, and it really feels like a lot of y'all niggas just want to be famous for finding some shit that you're finding fool's gold. I think it's just dumb. So, for me, I'm always going to take the music angle in things because this is a music podcast. Why not talk about his music history? So I went back and I listened to some of his old albums from that time between 2011 to 2015. Now, for a lot of y'all who don't remember, 2011 is when Tyler dropped Goblin, which is an album that was scaring black people. That was the one where he was on this trip called horrorcore. Now, for a lot of people who don't know what horrorcore is in hip hop, it's a genre where people talk about a lot of scary shit, like chopping up bodies or cannibalism. It's like if Jay-Z had a rap album that was talking about what was going on the movie Hostel. Make sense? That's what horrorcore is. It's basically rappers taking it to a different level. I used to listen to people like Brother Lynch Hung. Early 3 6 Mafia was a horrorcore. Even at early Eminem was a horrorcore type stuff. Go back and listen to Eminem's first album. That was horrorcore. And a lot of people don't realize what that is. But go and look that up. That is some of that music is wild as hell. I was a big Brother Lynch fan, by the way. Anyway, but when people heard that album or when they heard music from Goblin, black people were scared. Black people was like, this nigga worships the devil. This nigga is leaning into some shit that we ain't supposed to be about. And you know how black folks are. If it ain't nothing that sounds more Christian-like or it sounds more towards what we want as far as like going out, killing folks, shooting, or selling dope, or, you know, that Christian rap side of things, we don't fuck with it because those are the evil spirits. But Goblin was one of those albums that just leaned more into horrorcore. Now, did he say a lot of crazy shit on there and have some themes that just wasn't cool to say? Yes. But did he lean into that genre more because it was provocative? Yes. That was some of the stuff that most definitely got some of his white fans, because they had never. White people don't know nothing about our different pockets in hip hop. They just know that some shit sounds really cool to a beat. This black dude is sitting up here eating a roach in his video, and he is on some shit that I like. Horrorcore is the equivalent to heavy or hard metal back in the 80s. So I could see where he had crossover appeal, because Goblin was just something that was completely different, especially in 2011. It wasn't a lot of niggas rapping about shit like he was rapping about in 2011. He was just on some wild, scary shit. And it makes sense for him to have white fans off of something like that. So I just feel like the music right there scared a lot of those black fans off and probably brought in a whole lot more white fans. And he had just a lot more, his fan base became super white.
How do you look at Goblin? I think Goblin's 10th anniversary is coming up.
Bro, Goblin is fucking terrible, but I still love it. It's an energy and an aura that it has, and hearing my wonky synths and gross drums and me not realizing I'm yelling on every song and saying the most wild shit is what got people there. It's not about the music. It was if you were there, that energy and that aura and that air just cutting through what everyone else was doing is so important. And there's still some ones on there. I still think Yonkers is awesome. She is awesome. The first two versions of Nightmare is ill. Tron Cat's still awesome. Analog's still cool. Like, it's still a few things on there, but people don't know, like, a lot of the songs on that album were just like random songs I recorded after Goblin that we kind of just, I got these songs.
So in 2013, he dropped the album Wolf. Now, Wolf was leaning more into more traditional hip-hop tropes like money and talking about cool shit he had done since he got a great deal or since he started earning money. He was growing into the rap bag that people kind of know him for now. Like, it wasn't really as crafted or shaped as we wanted it to be, but he was going into that point because he had got tired of being labeled as a devil worshiper or labeled as somebody who was the weird guy that was way too weird for hip-hop. He wanted to lean more into themes that made a lot more sense for Black culture. Wolf, to me, was the beginning of Tyler trying to get more into the Black fan base and trying to get more people into his music. Now, Wolf was more of an album where it was hippie or like get high type music or the beats was more like that, but he really leaned into the hip hop side of things with Wolf. And I think people don't remember that. Like, this was the evolution. Wolf, and then it was Cherry Bomb after that. When he really got into his hip hop side of things with features from Wayne and A$AP Rocky and stuff like that. Like, we seen Tyler evolve into what he is now, which is Call Me When You Get Lost Tyler, or Earthquake. Well, not Earthquake Tyler. Earthquake Tyler is completely different, but Call Me When You Get Lost Tyler. Like, he started growing into his hip hop roots more after Goblin and when he started getting more Black fans. We wasn't fucking with Tyler from the jump. We wasn't. And that's the truth. A lot of Black people did not fuck with Tyler, the Creator. I fuck with him because I was knowledgeable about horrorcore. But if you ask the average Black hip hop fan in 2014 or in 2011, if they was listening to Tyler, Creator, they probably would look at you crazy and cuss you out because they don't fuck with that type of shit. We just don't fuck with a certain type of music because we feel like it's invoking too much craziness and spirits and all that shit. When you look at the history of the music, or when you look at what Tyler evolved into and where he came from, I can understand how he had crossover appeal with the white people first before he ended up getting his black fans. But he had to get a fan base because in Goblin, he was broke. He was 18, 19 years old when Goblin came out, and he didn't have any money, and he was doing whatever he could to try to make it. And he seen a lane that he wanted to take, and he took it. And it ended up working out for him now. He's one of the biggest artists in the world now. He's sitting up here putting out the kind of music he wants to make. So my biggest question to all of y'all who are watching today, can we get mad at somebody who crossed over first before they actually got popular with the black fans? No, in my opinion. My biggest problem with this is people playing time cop and going back in time to try to police somebody doing something when it's a part of their evolution and it's a part of the natural way things go. The way y'all go back and do this type shit and really try to make people feel bad about something that they may or may not have meant back in the day, it's crazy. Why can't we judge people's actions now? Why can't we judge what they're doing now for the culture? That's my biggest thing. Why can't we just get on that page? Why do we have to go back and find what people's past are to make them feel like shit because they did something stupid early in their career or early in life? None of it makes sense. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that we should always go back to people's past to be able to judge them in the future? Or do you think that going back, digging up old tweets and trying to find a reason to hate somebody is probably one of the dumbest things you ever heard of? Let me know down in the comments. That's all I got for you guys this week. Thank you for joining me for another episode. And always remember, faith is all about taking a leap. And you never know what you're going to get until you take that leap. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of every chance you get in life. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Like, he say this most ridiculous shit, but it sounds so cold when he just rapping.